Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I'm Sally and this is Secret Life of a Seamstress. I hope you're all really well and you've had a good week. So in today's video I'm just going to be sharing a couple of kind of catch-up things. I've got some fabrics to share, some patterns to share with you that I'd ordered and have arrived now, and a few kind of plans for the month. So I hope you all enjoy it. So if you are new to my channel is all about sewing and crafting, some knitting sometimes. I do sew along videos, fabric hauls, what I've been making and things like that. So if you love sewing and crafting too, I would love you to consider subscribing, and thank you so much if you are a regular subscriber and viewer. Just in case you're wondering what I'm wearing today, I'm wearing my hack of the Friday Pattern Company Sagebrush top, and I've just added the Fibre Mood normal blouse sleeve to it just to give it a bit more of a longer sleeve, and I've made it from a lovely seersucker gingham fabric which I picked up from Stock and Still quite a while ago. I've made two versions of this top now, one in a viscose which is much more drapey than this one. This one's got a little bit more structure to the sleeves because it is in that sort of more stable cotton. But it's really lovely and comfy to wear. I always feel a bit smock-like wearing these tops though, and as if I'm wearing a maternity top. I don't know if anyone else feels like that when they wear these tops, but I really love them. They're so comfy to wear. So I've just got a few kind of random things to share this week really. As I say, I've ordered some new fabrics recently, I've ordered some patterns and they've arrived, and I've got a few kind of vague plans in my head of what I want to get done. Probably not before the end of March now, because we are sort of into the third week of March now, I think. So I'm not going to get all of these plans done by the end of the month. Definitely not. It's been quite a busy month actually, as all months seem to be, even though we're still kind of in lockdown. The time seems to be flying by, but I do have a couple of plans of things I'd like to get done before the spring starts. So what have I got to share with you? Well, I went through all of my fabrics recently and all of my patterns and just kind of thought about all of the things that I wanted to get made in the winter that I hadn't actually got around to yet. And I realised that there was a couple of knit projects that I hadn't made yet that I really wanted to kind of get made in winter time and before we got into the kind of spring and summer warmer months. So I really want to get made another Linden sweatshirt before the weather warms up, but actually I think Linden sweatshirts would probably be a really good kind of spring and summer staple as well. So I really want to make another Linden sweatshirt. For my Linden sweatshirt I have this really lovely kind of sweatshirt fabric which I got from Abercon Fabrics. It's actually the cream or beige version of the pink fabric that I made my Stella joggers and Linden sweatshirt from a while ago now, so I know how soft and cozy this is. So I just literally bought the same fabric in a different colourway, and it's this really lovely kind of beige mottled sweatshirt in fabric with a really cozy fleecy back to it. So I'm going to make a really basic Linden sweatshirt out of this, but because this is quite plain I thought I'd jazz it up a little bit and use a couple of the ribbings that I've had in my stash for quite a while. And I have this really lovely coral coloured ribbing which I bought from Minerva a while ago for something else but then didn't end up using it. And I've also got this really lovely quite bright green ribbing as well, which I picked up for something else and again didn't use. So I've got these bits of ribbing and I wondered if I could kind of spice up my plain beige Linden sweatshirt by using those ribbings, those coloured ribbings, rather than just having the sort of sweatshirt fabric for the cuff and the band. So I thought that maybe for the hemband and the neckband I would use this green, and then maybe for the cuffs at the sleeves I would use this. And that would just make it a little bit kind of more bright and colourful for spring and summer, and it would just be kind of a bit more of an interesting take on a Linden sweatshirt. I think that would actually look really nice, and I'm quite excited to kind of try that colour blocking kind of thing and just see how it turns out. So that's my first plan, just to get another Linden sweatshirt done. And I don't know why I've put it off for so long, because really Linden sweatshirts, they take about an hour and a half to make, don't they? Sometimes the quickest projects I find just get put off for the longest amount of time. I don't know if you're the same. And just in case you're not familiar with the Linden sweatshirt pattern, I've shown it a million times before, but I'll just show it again just in case you haven't seen it. This is the Linden sweatshirt by Grain Line Studio, and that's what I'm planning to use those sweatshirt fabrics for. And I absolutely love this sweatshirt. I just think it's such a good wardrobe staple. So the next knit project I have planned is to use up this lovely grey cable knit fabric. I was going to make another heather dress from this, but I've kind of changed my mind on that now because I'm not wearing my knit dresses quite as much as I thought I would be, and definitely going into spring and summer and the warmer months I don't think I'll be wearing leggings and tights and boots as much in the warmer months. So I think instead from this lovely fabric I'm going to make a Megan Nielsen Jarrah sweatshirt. So this is the Jarrah sweatshirt if you haven't seen it already. There are quite a few different versions to this sweater pattern. So you can make it as a kind of basic sweatshirt with hembands and cuffs, or you can make a tie waist version, which you can see there. I want to go for view D for this fabric, so I'm going to do the high funnel neck, and then I'm going to use the kind of high-low hem of this version here. So I'm going to have a funnel neck, but a bit of a longer jumper, and then I'm going to put wrist cuffs, is that right? Arm cuffs on the wrists. So instead of having the kind of split sleeve, I'm going to go for the cuffs instead, because I don't like having things hanging over my wrists. I'm a bit weird like that about things. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go for with that, and I think that that will be really cosy in this lovely cable knit fabric. And I have quite a lot of this actually. I think I got 2 meters, so I probably won't use all of that. Might manage to get something little for my daughter or something out of it. Yeah, it's really wide as well, so yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that made up, and hopefully that won't take too long either. I've actually just made a funnel neck version of the Jarrah sweatshirt. I've made it in a stripy kind of ponty fabric, which you'll see in my next make video, and I found that the funnel neck came up quite high on me, so I think that when I make this cable knit version I'm just going to reduce the height of the neck in the jumper, because as well as being funny about things coming over my wrists, I'm also a bit funny about things being around my neck, and I think with this high neck it's okay because it's not tight and I really like the feeling of it, but it was just that little bit high, so I'm just going to reduce the kind of height of the neck when I make my next version as well. Just something to note if you're a bit like me and you don't like things being too high around your neck. So next I have 2 beautiful new fabrics to share with you. So if you're a member of the Minerva Craft Club, you'll know that at the weekend just gone, they had their Craft Club VIP day, which means that they offer 20% off of all of their fabrics, actually anything on their website I think, to all Craft Club members. So whenever they have these days, I think they have them twice a year, I always kind of save up my more expensive fabrics that I'm kind of drooling over for these days, so that I can buy them on the days that they have the 20% off, which is a really good thing to do. And if you're not a member of the Minerva Craft Club already, I'll link down below how you can become a member. It's really easy. You pay £20 a year, and then as well as getting 10% off of any order you place throughout the year, they also have 2 of these days where they just offer 20% to all of their VIP Craft Club members. So it's well worth doing, I think. I've been a member for 2 years now, and I've definitely got my money back from that £20 that I originally spent to join up. So anyway, I'd had my eye on 2 beautiful Atelier Brunette fabrics that I have seen around and seen on the Minerva website. One of them I shared in my Make 9 video. So I want to make, as part of my Make 9 this year, the True Bias Roscoe blouse. So the Roscoe pattern's a dress mainly, but you can make it as a blouse as well. And I really wanted to make it out of this lovely viscose twill. This is so soft and drapey and lovely. It's kind of on a really pale blush pink background, and it has some sort of navy and burgundy floral kind of sprays and dots all over it. So at the moment I think I'm going to use this to make my Roscoe blouse, and I think I'm going to do the long sleeve version, and I just think that will be lovely. You know, sometimes you just get an idea in your head of how something's going to look, and I just thought that this fabric would really pair well with that pattern. So yeah, I haven't actually even bought the Roscoe blouse pattern yet. I should have actually brought that in the Craft Club day, shouldn't I? That was silly. Anyway, at some point I will buy the pattern, but at least I have my lovely material all ready to go when I do have the pattern. And I brought 1.8 meters of this, so I have quite a lot of it, and I'm considering buying the ready-made binding, because you can buy ready-made binding by Atelier Brunette and it just matches perfectly. So I may or may not do that. I might not be lazy and make my own just for the purpose of making this blouse. I'll pop a picture of the blouse in so that you can just see how it's finished. It's kind of gathered in at the neck, and then it's kind of finished with a bias binding that ties up. So yeah, there's quite a lot of bias binding to make, but yeah, I absolutely love this. It's so soft and silky. And the other Atelier Brunette fabric that I picked up was this really lovely crepe. So this is a viscose crepe. It feels a little bit more lightweight than that viscose twill that I've just showed you, and it's in this really lovely, I don't know what colour this is actually, it's like a rusty kind of colour, but it seems a little bit pink as well. It's not like a proper rust, it's a bit more of a pinky rust, if that makes sense in any way. And it has some sort of pale pink splodges on it and black splodges as well, and I just think this is so lovely. And I really had trouble choosing what colour to buy because I don't actually know what I'm going to make with this yet, so I just simply bought this just for the love of it, really. I just think it's really pretty and it'll be really lovely. It could be a kind of autumn colour, but I think it'll work really nicely in spring as well. I could have bought much more that craft club day, but really the point of me using up all of my knit fabrics is to try and get through my stash so that I can buy myself some lovely spring and summer fabrics. So I was a bit kind of premature there, and I did break my ban to buy these things, but I think the amount you save with the 20%, particularly because these are quite pricey fabrics, as you'll probably know, it's well worth sort of making sure that you use that discount, I think. So that's my justification for buying these two fabrics, and I really can't wait to use these. They'll probably sit in my stash for ages because I won't want to cut them, but yeah, I'll admire them for a little while and then I'll eventually cut into them probably. So I'll just show you a couple of patterns that I picked up as well. So I didn't buy all of these in this particular sale, but I did buy them on sale at some point from Minerva. So in the Craft Club sale, I bought this New Look pattern. This is New Look 6560. And I absolutely love the style of this blouse. I really love this one here. You can see at the top with the kind of wrap top with the frill around it and the big puffy sleeves. And I'm thinking that that would look amazing in that kind of rusty Atelier Brunette fabric that I just showed you. But for spring and summer, I'm just wondering if the short sleeve version would be better. This one down here. So this is a pattern that I'll possibly use for my lovely rusty coloured viscose crepe that I just showed you. I think that's just so pretty. I haven't used a New Look pattern or any of the big four pattern companies' patterns for such a long time actually. So my life has kind of been taken over by all the beautiful indie patterns, indie sewing patterns that there are out there at the moment. So it'll be really interesting and good for me, I think, to try a New Look pattern because it has been a long time since I've used one of these. I kind of started my sewing life using Simplicity and Burda and New Look, and then I kind of got distracted by Instagram and all the lovely other pattern companies that there are out there. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. And then a couple of patterns that I picked up a while ago. These are for my Make 9 projects. So I've got the Hudson pants finally. I've been wanting to make this for so long, and then I kind of got distracted by the Stella joggers I made recently and how lovely that pattern was. And I did wonder if I actually needed to buy this pattern, but since it was on my Make 9 anyway, and I really like the fact that you can make a cropped version of these joggers, and I think that would be really good for pyjamas for the summer or just sort of wearing around the house in the spring and summer. And I do like the kind of tapered leg look of this pattern as well, so I went for it and just bought them anyway, and I've heard such good things about this pattern. So I think probably for my first version I might actually try the cropped leg version because I'm more thinking about going forward kind of making things that I'm going to wear into the warmer months, and I think that they will be really good. I'm not quite ready to give up my joggers and loungewear quite yet, even though things should be easing up into the springtime, but I'm sure there's still going to be quite a lot of loungewear going on, so yeah, I'm excited to make those. I don't have any fabric for these yet, so once I've kind of finished up the knit projects that I've got in mind for this month or this next couple of months, I think I'm going to invest in some fabric so that I can give these a try. And another knit project pattern that was on my Make 9 as well is the Sew House 7 toaster sweater. And I really want to make version 1 here. And I guess I could have made this out of my cable knit fabric actually, but I think I'm going to stick with the Jarrah actually for the cable knit fabric. And again, when I'm allowed to buy some more fabric, I'm going to get some lovely cosy, possibly some sort of navy and white stripy fabric to try that for spring, because I think that would be really nice. And you know what it's like in the UK, we definitely still need cosy jumpers into spring and summer. So I think I'll still get a lot of wear out of that even as the weather warms up, or we hope it's going to warm up anyway. You never know in this country, do you? I wasn't sure whether to share this or not because technically this should be in one of my makes videos, but I'll just show you what I'm working on at the moment. I've been sewing my Carolyn pyjamas by Closet Core Patterns. So this is my first attempt at the Carolyn pyjamas by Closet Core Patterns, and I'm using this beautiful viscose from Abacan Fabrics, which is just so soft and drapey. And yeah, so this is how far I've got at the moment. I've only made the blouse, the shorts are all cut out and ready to go, but not got around to those yet. And I'm really loving how this is looking. I went for the piping, although I haven't used piping on this version. I've just used bias binding and I've folded it in half just to give that kind of white edging. I found that quite tricky to do actually, and I know I shouldn't point out all of my faults with sewing, but it's definitely not perfect around the collar. So the more I look at it, the more I think probably no one will care, and actually I'm going to just wear these to bed anyway, so what does it matter really? But yeah, it was a little bit tricky to get that piping quite right. It might be because I've used a sort of polycotton binding and my fabric is really drapey, so that might be why it's not kind of sat that well around the collar. But I'm really liking how this is looking. It was a really slow sew. It took me quite a while to make this, I have to say, longer than I thought. But I really enjoyed the kind of neat finishes of all of this. I enjoyed kind of doing the binding or the piping. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this is looking so far. I can't wait to have these pyjamas in my pyjama wardrobe because I'm too bad at just wearing scruffy, sloppy pyjamas that I've had for years just because they're comfy. So it'd be really nice to have some sort of smarter pyjamas to wear at night. And I have all the shorts cut out, so I really want to get around to them soon, and hopefully I'll be able to share the full set in my next makes video. So since this is a catch-up video, I thought I'd just share with you where my knitting is at. So if you remember, I shared it in my last catch-up video that I'm making this lovely woolly jumper, which is a bit wintry really, but it's taken me so long to do it that I think I'll probably get it done by next winter probably. It's taken me so long to actually get it done. So this is from the Mode at Rowan Brushed Fleece knitting book, and I started this probably around the middle of February, I think. And well, it's not going too well, let's just put it that way. So I'll show you where I'm at with it. So I'm actually on the front now. I have done the back, but I'm thinking of ripping the back and actually doing it again. So anyway, I'm on the front now, and you can see that I've started the cable pattern. I actually got right to the end of the front of this jumper and I had to rip it all back because I had some issues with the sizing, and I changed the amount of stitches that I was knitting with, and when I came to shape the neck, the amount of stitches that I had less than what the pattern said just wasn't working for shaping the neck. And also I'd made a bit of a mistake with one of the cables quite far back in the jumper. So yeah, I was literally about up to the shaping for the neck of the jumper and I had to rip it all back and start again. And then once I started again, I then made another mistake with the cables, and I got to about this far and realised that I'd made a mistake further down and then had to rip back again. So this is a bit of a labour of love at the moment, and I think it's just because I tend to knit in the evenings when I'm feeling tired anyway and I'm probably watching the telly, and cable just takes that little bit more concentration, doesn't it? So even though this pattern isn't particularly difficult, it does just mean that I need to count and concentrate a bit more, so I just need to take a bit more care with it really. But I'm really liking how it's looking, and it's going to be really cosy if I can actually finish it and get it done properly. So that's where I'm at with that. And with the back, I decided to do the back plain in stocking stitch, but again I had the same kind of issue with the shaping at the top. So I think I might actually end up undoing all of the back and then starting again. So we'll see. I'll see how enthusiastic I am about doing that when it comes to it, but I'm just redoing the front at the moment and I'll see how that goes. But that's where I'm at with my knitting. and I'm just really trying not to get distracted from this chunky style knit by all of the nice spring and summer patterns I'm seeing coming up at the moment. I really need to get this done, so I must not get distracted. And kind of lastly, I thought I would just do a little bit of a reading and what I'm watching catch up, because I really liked doing that last time. So I finished reading The Missing Pieces of Nancy Moon, which I said I was reading back in February, and I really enjoyed that. It was such a lovely read. It was so sort of nostalgic. There were loads of sewing references. It was kind of travel related as well, so it was really kind of up my street, and I really enjoyed reading it. If you're into kind of dressmaking and vintage style and sort of stories that are set in the past, then I think you'll really enjoy it too. But what I'm reading at the moment is The Mystery of Mercy Close by Marianne Keyes. And I absolutely love Marianne Keyes books. I've read all of her books, and I think this is her newest one. I might be wrong, but I haven't read this one anyway, and I got it for Christmas. So I'm not too far into this at the moment. I'm kind of reading a chapter a night before I kind of collapse and fall asleep. Not getting a lot of reading done at night time at the moment, but I tend to read a bit in bed before I go to sleep. And I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if anyone's read any Marianne Keyes books before, but I really enjoy them. She's got a kind of, she deals with really important subjects, like she'll kind of write about depression, bulimia she's written about, and death, and things that are kind of quite heavy subjects, but she does it in quite a humorous way, and she has sort of a bit of a kind of dark, sarcastic humour about her, which I really like. So I always really enjoy her books, and I find them quite they make you think, but not in a kind of depressing sort of way. And there's lots of laughs in there. But yeah, I'm not too far into this at the moment, as I say, so when I've finished it I'll let you know what I think of it. But at the moment I'm really enjoying it, as I enjoy most of Marianne Keyes' books. In terms of what I'm watching on Netflix at the moment, I'm still watching Mad Men. So had a bit of a funny time in February where I had some awful night's sleep. So I had about a couple of weeks where I really didn't sleep well at all, and I don't really know why. It was probably just a combination of everything. But I really wanted to watch something in the evening that was just relaxing and I could just kind of watch without thinking too much about. So I started to rewatch Mad Men, and I've watched that a couple of years ago, and I don't think I ever actually finished it because I'm on the 6th series now, and what I'm watching I don't think I've watched before, so it's really been nice to kind of rewatch that. And I just love Mad Men. I don't know what it is about it. It's not for everyone, definitely, because I know that not everyone loves it like I do, but I think I just like that time. It's kind of set in the 50s and 60s, early 60s and then onwards. And it's just all the outfits, it's sort of vintage New York, there's a bit of LA in there, and yeah, I just really love the style of it, and I love sort of looking at the outfits and the style of that time. So yeah, I've really been enjoying watching Mad Men. So I've got about half a series more of that to watch, I think, and then I think I'm going to watch Behind Her Eyes, which I've heard mixed reviews about. Some people absolutely love it, some people think that it's a waste of time. But I was wondering for a while whether I should wait and read the book of that. So there's a book that was written before the series, and I'm wondering whether I should watch that first before I watch the series. But I might not be able to wait that long because I'm not a very speedy reader at the moment. So if you've watched Behind Her Eyes, and if you've read the book, or if you've read the book, let me know what you think of it and whether I should give it a watch or a read first. But yeah, that's next on my list. So a little bit of exciting news just before I go. Just to share with you that I'm going to be writing for the Pattern Pages magazine. So if you haven't heard of the Pattern Pages, it's a digital online sewing magazine. They have a magazine that comes out every month, and you can buy an annual subscription so that you don't miss out on any issues. I have a monthly subscription, so I get my digital magazine every month. But back in December, I think last year, I applied to be one of their bloggers, and I was successful, so that was great news to me, and it's really exciting. So I'm going to be part of a team of other sewers and bloggers, and we're all going to be writing about different subjects. So I've just written my first blog post, and that's going to be going live quite soon, so I will be sure to let you know when it's live, so that if you're interested you can pop over and read it. And I can't wait to get my teeth into all of the other articles that I'm going to be writing for them this year. So that's really exciting. I'll leave the link for the Pattern Pages magazine down below so that you can pop over and just have a look. Even if you don't want to subscribe to the actual magazine, there's a load of other information on their website, and there's a blog that you can view as a non-subscriber as well. So the other thing I really need to get making on this month is my Frugal Frocks challenge dress. It took me absolutely ages to decide what I'm actually going to sew for that challenge, but I have decided now, and I've got it all cut out, and I can't wait to get on and sew it. So that's another sewing project for this month as well. It's been a really busy month actually for sewing projects, so I should have quite a lot to share with you when I record my March make in a couple of weeks' time. So I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what you're working on this month. I always love to chat to everyone in the comments, so if you do comment, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I really love chatting to everyone. Don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it, and do subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.